Hello, it's good to be here. So today I've got three things to tell you about. The first thing I want to tell you about is the dress that I'm wearing. I'll put a picture in the inset over here for you to see what the whole thing looks like. So this is from the Burda Easy number 5 2022, this magazine, and I made dress 2A. This is what the one in the magazine looks like. So I really like this because it's good for the office and it's got a gentle feminine flair on the sleeves. Not something that I've worn before, but I haven't seen one like this before. So it was very easy to lay out the pattern, quick to cut. It took me a little bit longer than usual to make it up, only because I ran out of paper partway through and I had a couple of other hiccups. So the first hiccup I'll tell you about is my bobbin. I'll put some pictures in the inset here as well and show you what it is. As I was sewing, the stitches were getting worse and worse and worse, and I'll hold up for you to see. I don't know if you can see, but I'll add a picture in the inset. As you can see, they're all tangled at the bottom, and what I worked out is that I've been using plastic bobbins in my sewing machine. Mine's a really old entry-level model, and I thought that maybe there was something wrong with the machine, but it turns out it's not actually the machine itself, it's the bobbin. The plastic is worn down and it's almost 1/2 millimeter smaller than the standard metal one, so consequently it rattles in the bobbin casing and it carries on spinning even after I've stopped sewing. So as you can imagine, it created a terrible tangle. Consequently, I wasted a lot of thread and I ended up doing a lot of unpicking. But one thing I will say is viscose fabric is really forgiving, and I've unpicked a few hems and a few seams on this a number of times, and it doesn't show any of the old needle marks on the fabric, so that's one plus. This is the third time I'm sewing viscose fabric. So the first one was my Burda blouse with the viscose inset at the back with the pleats. The second one was my Lauren blouse, and this is the third thing that I've sewn. I really love viscose. It doesn't crease very well, so ironing is a little bit more difficult because you've got to be careful. You can't use too high a setting on the iron, but it does press well. But as I said, when you're wearing it, it doesn't actually crease very much. It's warm like cotton and it breathes like cotton. So this fabric I bought at A&M Textiles. I've bought a few things there actually, and I'm very happy with the quality of the fabric they have. I thought this would be a lovely autumn print. Probably a little bit late for the actual leaves falling, but I think it's still seasonal. So I really enjoyed sewing this. Once I got everything together and I got everything sorted in terms of my machine stitches, it actually went together really well. So I've done a couple of extra things. I don't know if you ever have it, but often these kind of dresses, the facing is actually quite narrow and it tends to want to turn up even though you've done the understitching around the edges. So I've done a few things of my own on top of all the little seams, because as you can, I don't know if you can see, but there it's actually a raglan sleeve. I'll show you the picture. So this is number 2A. So over here, I think you can see it's a basic raglan sleeve, and the difference in this one, which I've never seen on a raglan sleeve, is actually there's an extra seam, if you like, on the top of the shoulder. I don't know if you can see, the top of the shoulder actually has a seam, so that the raglan sleeve, when you cut out the pattern, is actually split with a V at the top of the pattern, and it actually gives a really nice finish. Instead of having a sloppy shoulder, you actually have a more contoured fit over here, and I think it's worked quite well. So once I'd sorted that out, that was great. And the other thing I did is I actually made little stitches right in the ditches of the actual raglan detail over here to keep the facing inside. I don't know if you can see, but I actually sewed, I'll put some pictures in the inset. And the other thing, because I had no extra seams to sew on, I actually added a little button for interest, and it serves the purpose of keeping the facing down. so the facing won't ever turn up in the front of the dress. And it was an odd button. I went and bought a whole bunch of loose buttons on Amazon. You know, we're all trying to be sustainable. I've added a little bit of interest to the dress as well. So the other thing that I made from this magazine, yes, I made 2 things from this magazine, and I can definitely recommend the Burda Easy, especially if you're a beginner sewer. By the way, this pattern that I sewed, it's number 3B over here in the middle. The nice thing about this is I'm still quite new to using my overlocker, and there's still a few little idiosyncrasies I'm trying to work my way around with the overlocker, but this is the kind of pattern that will make you fall in love with the overlocker. It went together very quickly. Pattern matching, it's probably the first time I've done a serious pattern match, and I think I didn't have any terrible failures, so I didn't get any funny patterns across the middle. Like sometimes you see those memes and those sewing fails. I think it turned out alright. I don't have any bullseye patterns or anything like that where I don't want them, and it went together really well. It's all overlocked on the inside with an elastic band on the top. Definitely recommend these as a wardrobe filler. Yes, it's a very, very loud print. I bought some dead stock fabric intending for it to be casual trousers that would perhaps be a wearable toile. Actually, I've worn them to the office on a number of occasions. Very comfortable, and it's worth buying dead stock because you might discover something that you like and it won't go to landfill. So the third thing that I wanted to tell you today was about my new book. So I've had this book published on Amazon. What it is it's a project book for you to put all of your lovely projects in. It's got an introduction. It's got a space for putting all your projects in over there. And each project gives you 3 pages. So the first page is a page for you to put your measurements on. You can put your project information on this page over here. And then the third page is a full page for notes and sketches. Over here. So the next project is the measurements page again. And you can see facing is the information for your project and the full page of notes. What I've also done is I've actually included a good number of pages, so I've given them different colors and different themes, and I've used different mannequin images. And I've tried to keep it feminine, but I've tried to keep it quite uncomplicated as well. Please let me know what you think. I've also included in the back some very, very basic outline ideas for changing your own patterns, things that you can do, that you can add, you can borrow from other patterns. So things like moving where the zip goes, if you want to change a zip for a placket, or if indeed you just want to add a zip into the front of a garment. Also things like a place to write all your online resources over here. So if you subscribe to people like the Fold Line or any of those, so there's plenty of space to write a list of all your favorite Instagrammers or your favorite people on Facebook, or if you follow people like Tilly and the Buttons, you can actually put web addresses there for all of the different resources that you like to use. This is the first time I've ever published anything on Amazon. And what drove me to do it is I've looked on Amazon for a number of sewing project books, and most of them, not all, most tend to only give you a page like this for each project, and some might give you an additional page for some scribbles, but most of the pages that I've seen in most of the books take this format, and they all tend to be black and white as well. So please let me know what you think. I'm thinking about adding similar books for other types of sewing. So this is generally aimed at people who want to sew clothes, but if it's successful, I might actually think about doing it for quilting and perhaps other kinds of crafts like that. Let me know what you think. So I haven't been able to add anything recently to my website. As you can see, I haven't blogged a lot lately. I've been trying to get this done. Family gets in the way, life gets in the way, but as you know, my main reason for sewing is for my own enjoyment. So if I'm not enjoying it, I'm not going to sew. So I'm the kind of person, I'll put it to the side for a week, maybe 2 weeks, and then when I'm in the mood again, I'll come back to it. So I won't bombard you with loads and loads of posts. I'll post when I've got something interesting for you. Let me know what you think in the comments. Join me on Facebook, and please share your makes with us on Facebook. Thank you. Bye.